Hi, I'm Sabrina from moonhoneytravel.com, the hiking blog for travelers. Kati and I spent all of March hiking across Crete, mostly in Hania in the northwest and Plakias in the southwest. So we wanted to share with you our absolute favorite 9 hikes across West Crete. I will explain exactly what we loved and didn't love about each hike. Stick around until the very end where I reveal our all-time favorite. And if you want to see all of these hikes plotted on an interactive map with full trail descriptions, check out our Crete hiking guide on our blog linked below. Happy hiking. Number 9, Imbros Gorge. Imbros Gorge is located in southwest Crete near Horos Fakion. Most hikers start this trail in the hamlet of Imbros and make their way downhill through the gorge to Komitatis. At the end of the trail, you can either retrace your steps back to Imbros or take a taxi. Since we visited in the off-season when taxi shuttles weren't running, we chose to hike it out and back. The trail's standout moment comes around the halfway point as it snakes through a narrow serpentine canyon with towering sheer walls. It's exquisite. The downside of this hike is that the first hour can feel a bit underwhelming, making the effort to reward ratio a little off. Number 8, Samaria Gorge. Before we go any further, I want to mention Crete's most famous trail, Samaria Gorge. We didn't get a chance to hike it ourselves since the gorge is only open from May to October, and we visited Crete in March. This 6-hour point-to-point hike starts on the Omelos Plateau in the White Mountains and descends 16 kilometers to the village of Agia Romeli on Crete's southwest coast. Given the logistics of this route, it's easiest to book a package tour from Hania, which includes the bus pickup, the ferry ride, and the bus drop-off. Number 7, Red Beach Trail. Flanked by dazzling creamy white cliffs, Red Beach is one of the most beautiful spots on the island. The hike to this wild and nudist-friendly beach begins in the town of Matala, which was a hippie haven in the 1960s. And fun fact, Joni Mitchell composed Carrie here. From the village, a narrow footpath rises south, cutting a direct path across the Accra Matala Headland. The descent to the beach is more difficult since the trail is scattered with loose rock, but it's worth the effort. Sadly, this beautiful place is marred by some trash. There are 3 tavernas along the beach, and one of the owners burns their trash rather than disposing of it responsibly. Number 6, Kako Mouri Headland Hike. Kako Mouri is the headland that forms the eastern edge of Plakias Bay along the south coast. And by the way, the town of Plakias is a really great base for a few days because it's close to numerous beaches, the Preveli Palm Forest, the Katholiko Gorge, and waterfall, and several mountain villages like Celia. So to start this hike, head to the eastern end of Plakias Beach. From here, a scenic trail wraps around the headland, running along cliffs and across jagged rock formations. And while you curve around the headland, you'll be treated to sweeping views of the Libyan Sea and the surrounding mountains. After passing the Calypso Resort and Calypso Beach, the trail climbs a striking cliffside staircase. Next, the trail continues towards Damnoni Bay, where you can stop for lunch when the tavernas are open. The path then turns inland between resorts and across olive groves before looping back to Plakias Bay. Number 5, Seitan Limania. Seitan Limania is an S-shaped inlet cradled by rugged cliffs near Hania along the north coast. This hike is very short, but we had to include it because the contrast between the turquoise water and the white rock is absolutely mesmerizing. If you've seen photos or video footage of this trail from before 2025, it's likely outdated. The path has since been secured with fixed chains bolted into the rock, so it's not as dangerous as it once looked. That being said, it's still challenging and proper footwear is essential. A short circular trail measuring 0.5 kilometers connects the car park with the beach. We followed the obvious path to the left, completing the circuit in a clockwise direction. The trail drops down a jagged cliff and then levels as it approaches the pebble beach of Seitan Limania. And after enjoying the beach and taking a swim, the trail ascends along a way-marked and secured path up the cliffs. The way up is steep, but safe. The views of the inlet grow increasingly spectacular with every step. Number 4, Katholiko Gorge. Not too far from Seitan Limania is another unmissable hike called Katholiko Gorge. This gorge serves as a spectacular passageway between the Katholiko Monastery ruins and Katholiko Bay. To start this hike, drive to the Governetto Monastery car park. After paying a small entrance fee, only in high season, follow the pilgrimage path past the monastery to the Bear Cave, which was once a pagan temple dedicated to the goddess Artemis. With views of the sea, continue descending to the Cave of St. John the Hermit and the ruins of Katholiko Monastery. Below the cliffside monastery church, a trail drops down to the bed of Katholiko Gorge, also known as Avlaki Gorge. Between rugged limestone walls, trace the rocky bed to the coast. The secluded Katholiko Bay is a narrow inlet flanked by weathered limestone walls. Enjoy the view, and please note that swimming is actually not allowed here. Number 3, Lissos Gorge Circuit. Lissos Gorge is located in Suya along the south coast. Kati and I did this hike as a day trip from Hanya, but if we had visited later in the season, like April or May, when more things were open, we would have loved to have stayed longer. From the village of Suya, the path leads west, passing the harbor, to a pebbly beach, which is the entrance to Lissos Gorge. Heading inland, the trail follows the rocky bed of the gorge and then climbs up to a rocky pine-studded plateau. From here, the trail develops into a high coastal path that eventually leads back to Suya. What I really liked about this hike was the changing scenery and, of course, the goats that patrol the trail from start to finish. There's honestly no downside to this hike. We did a whole video on Lissos Gorge, so check it out if you want to learn more about this trail. Number 2, Lutro to Sweetwater Beach. Lutro is a picturesque seaside village that is only accessible by foot or by boat, and it's located between Agia Romeli and Horasfakion along the south coast. One of the finest coastal trails on the island connects Lutro with Sweetwater Beach and Horasfakion. I recommend starting this hike with a ferry ride from Horasfakion to Lutro and then walking all the way back. This hike is so stunning, but also rough and rugged. To help you get a better sense of the terrain and decide if it's right for you, we created a video all about hiking to Sweetwater Beach. Do check it out. And finally, number 1, our favorite hike on Crete, Aradena Gorge. This point-to-point hike starts with a taxi or bus ride from Horasfakion to the village of Aradena, then descends through the gorge to Marmara Beach, finishing with a water taxi back to Horasfakion. Alternatively, you can actually follow the E4 trail all the way back to Horasfakion. We also made a full video on Aradena Gorge where we explain 4 trail options and share plenty of footage from this hike. A lot of people are scared to tackle this trail because of the notorious ladder section. And I'm really happy to say that the ladders are optional, and there's a really nice alternative trail which bypasses them completely. Even without the ladders, however, the trail is demanding, thanks to the rocky and uneven terrain. Some sections call for light, hands-on scrambling, but nothing's too scary, I promise. If you love discovering lesser-known hiking trails across Europe, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment.